Hello, welcome to day 68 in creating this PHP web framework series, and yeah, let's begin. So in the previous one we finished up custom classes and we implemented copyright generator, and we was going to payment services, and I thought let's go on a segue. I think it'd be interesting to implement Google AMP. I had a quick look at it and it doesn't seem like it should be that hard to implement into the system. So Google AMP is Google's Accelerated Mobile Pages project, and this is essentially designed. I guess anyone could use it, but there's a limitation on the elements, the HTML elements you can use, and obviously that reduces the sort of websites you can create. But it's aimed at sort of like news outlets. So you got the Guardian, you got the Independent, you got all these different media outlets, these blogs almost even, and it's designed for them, so their pages load up really super fast on a mobile device. A lot of the time I think all the time, I don't know of any instance of a website that only has an AMP version. They have a regular version, then they have AMP as well, because AMP is very limited, like I was saying, in terms of the HTML elements, but I think it's a useful thing to have in there, considering AMP is becoming more and more popular. Find that funny in the top stories. Publishers find Google AMP loads too fast for ad views. That's fantastic. So if we go into the AMP page, the great section for documentation. And if we go to getting started, so get the AMP HTML. So this is the AMP HTML template. So we'll create your first AMP page. See what that's talking about. So the required markup is doc type, which obviously is in the template. It needs to start with a top level HTML AMP tag. Again, in the template, you can either have it like that or the other one is sufficient. We'll go for that one. Contain head and body tag. Yep, that's fine. Framework already does. Contain a meta charset UTF-8. Believe it does. Our framework. Contain this JavaScript file as the second child after the head tag. And the second child, there it is. Contain a link to some URL. So yeah. Okay, so what's this? The canonical. Let's just quickly skip that. So contain this metadata. I believe it already does, but we can make sure. Contain the AMP boiler code in the head tag. AMP boiler code in the head tag. Okay, that's cool stuff. Really simple stuff as well. So also, what's the canonical? Optional metadata. So yeah, you can add extras as well. So what is canonical in AMP? What exactly does it refer to? Make your app discoverable. Okay, in order to in some cases you might want to have both a non-AMP and AMP version of the same page. For example, in news articles, consider this: if Google search finds the non-AMP version of that page, how does it know there's an AMP version of it? Okay, yeah. In order to solve this problem, we add the information about the AMP page to the non-AMP page and vice versa in the form of Okay, yeah, I'm getting an understanding of what that is. Let's confirm we got everything else in there, and then we'll deal with the AMP in a second. So, I believe we already have the doc type, and what we're going to do is go to website config. I'm going to add a new config, and this is going to be the is enabled, and how go to db enable, it's called yeah, that's fine, is amp enabled, it's fine, and by default let's just say true. And if it is defined, then that will have a few implications. You have an implication on the elements, so the header. So in the header, we always want the doc type. That is a given. That is non-negotiable. So we don't need to enclose that in any if statement. The meta charset. What we had the meta charset. Meta tags. So let me go to sub meta tags. The charset. So meta. So the meta config UTF. So by default it has the correct charset. So that is very, very cool. Actually, I think I'm going to go a step further in the meta tags. We've got the charset here. We're going a step further. What we'll do is we'll have some PHP. So if the, let me just copy and paste this. If this is enabled, so if the website, obviously the website is going to be enabled. If the website is AMP enabled, then we will have a separate, basically we'll override this. So this was only valid if it's not AMP enabled, and if it is AMP enabled, and sort that out. So if it is AMP enabled, we will have this basically hard coded in there. So this just ensures if it's AMP enabled. That's all it is. Nothing more to it than that. Next, we have to have this, and this it says needs to be after the first meta tag. So it actually has to be after this. So yeah, we can just whack that here, I guess. Again, this is only if it's enabled. So we need to do the HTML tag as well. So let's copy that. Let's go to header. It's right here. PHP. So if this is enabled, I will sort this out in a second. PHP. Nope, I was meant to close it. I probably could do with just putting this on 1 line actually. Nah, it sort of loses it being lined up, which not good at all, not good. So this is what should be in the regular one. Too much gaps. Too many gaps. How crazy should I go with the gaps? I'll put the gaps. You only live once. Okay. I'm a huge fan of gaps. So if it is AMP enabled, it needs to be this AMP tag and not the regular tag. Otherwise it is this right here. Next, we already did that. We already have head and body tags, so we have the head, we have the body, that's fine. We've already contained a script tag as well. Next is the canonical. Skip that for a second, and next is the meta name. We have to go back to meta tags. Meta name, viewport, content, width equals width minus width initial. And I say the minimum scale. It's also recommended to include initial scale as well, apparently. Okay. So what we're going to do is grab hold of this. Grab a hold of this entire block and that'll be easier. If this is not true, we will put this over here. Actually, when we have it indented, this looks a little better. If it is true, we'll still have it, but there'll be a few changes. I'll just copy and paste this so it's ensure we get the correct one. We'll also have the initial scale as well, as that was, it did say recommended. So okay, that's that done. Contain the AMP boiler code in the header tag. So if we copy that, that is the last thing in the header. So header right here. Some big ass code, I see. So we'll grab a hold of this. Actually, can just do it like so. We'll put it here. So if it's enabled, then we're going to include the AMP code. And we just need to close this off. And that's it. We're ready to take it for a spin then. So if we refresh, didn't do the canonical. I'll sort that out in a second. So it has AMP mode, AMP header, head. We have the AMP boilerplate. We have the charset, which is good. We've got that file. Yeah, that's the file. Why the reCAPTCHA one added? Maybe it's been added itself automatically. That's what I'm going to assume has happened. Shouldn't be a problem really. We have the viewport. Okay, so now if we were to go to website and disable this, the uppercase one doesn't actually matter. It's uppercase or lowercase. We don't have the minimum scale. We don't have the AMP, and our head doesn't have that little AMP attribute. So that's good. One last thing is to actually implement the canonical. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to implement this within our framework. Okay, good. So I'm just going to assume that you're just having just an AMP version of a particular page. And you will just have this. And then header. That is placed after the title. Where was the title? Title. Just here. The only thing is we need to sort this out. So this needs to refer to the current page. The current page. 1 second, bear with me. Just transferring a mug like I did yesterday. So the current page would be http php get current URL. That should suffice. Okay, so let's grab this. And what we're gonna do is have some PHP here. $URL. And I still like my spaces, sometimes a little too much. And we grab that, pump that into here. So actually, yeah, we can wrap this all on one line. Could we put any of this on one line? Nah, you sort of mess up indentation and whatnot. And whatnot. If I go back to website config, re-enable it. Actually, go back to header. It's not actually in an if statement. So I'll just test it like this for now. So refresh. Where is it? Where am I looking? Canonical. Ooh, unknown. It's safe to say that is bad. Safe to say that is bad indeed. Let's just try doing it like this. Okay. I must have got that. It's equals. There we go. So localhost PHP public testing. There we go. Obviously, this needs to be enclosed. So for that reason, I'll put this on a multi-line. Love it. And copy that. And only if this is enabled will we have this tag. Bottom it. Yeah, we can get rid of them. No need for that. So only if it's enabled. So have a look. It's right there. If we go to website, select false. No longer there. Okay, so let's have a look at validate an AMP page. So if we do that, if we do this, AMP validation had errors. What are the errors? The attribute href in link font is set to invalid value. Does it need to be lowercase? Or you could just do it either. So doc type It's right here. So what is it moaning about? Wonder if it's messing up because it's trying to get a localhost thing, and that's why it's messing up in terms of, because it doesn't say anything about it here. So okay, I think that's the reason, because it's trying to get it from an actual domain. That shouldn't be a problem. I'll leave it lowercase if that doesn't actually matter. The attribution href converts HTML to AMP. Okay, so we have an error of good resource. Let's start closing some of this stuff down. First one is attribute href. So that's what the problem is. I think there might be an easy way of doing this. See what the time is looking like. Okay for time. PHP echo contents of file. We're using a backend language. We should be able to do some really cool stuff here. If I'll get contents, I guess. So instead, so where are we looking? So one of the ones he was moaning about, and we'll ensure we do this one first, is Bootstrap. Okay, so that is CSS built-in libs. Libs built in, so let's have a look at that. Libs, no, not that. Libs to include libs built in, that's within here. Okay, it's good stuff. So if we go to the header, what we're going to do is in here, go one step further. If it's enabled, if AMP is enabled, then what we are going to do, and then out, so let's do this. I'll do it in line, you know, sort of like this. So I'll copy that and on here, put it here, put that there, get rid of that, and instead I were to do file. So if I were to do $css file equals file underscore get underscore contents, and then if I were to put that here as an echo, and this entire thing should realistically be an echo. And if I were to go back, refresh, that's the href that we need, isn't it? What would happen if I were to just do this instead? Just do this. That could remove a lot of errors. Obviously, that's not correct. This is the method for getting it from the link. PHP get contents of link tag. Let's try this, I guess. Let's try this. Okay, let's try this one then. If I grab this, so instead we get this preg match all link is that, so the link is this. $result. We paste it into here. At the moment, if we go to elements and we go to all of it is simply just bootstrap, which is incorrect. If I refresh this now, undefined offset 0, line 74, result href, that clearly didn't work. Yeah, I know that errors. No, it is href that I want. I'm actually going to expect it to be valid. What if we just do result instead? What if we just assign it to an initial value of null? Nope, that did. Oh no, don't want to delete all that. That did nothing, so that's not good. Let's just die here and refresh. Array to string conversion on here. Why is this not working? Let me try this one. I want to have a look at something. Let's confirm one thing. Okay, yeah. Did have what I thought. Okay, that's fine. Let's try this one now. That messed up. That royally messed up. Okay, so I'll continue this next video. I'll continue with the Google AMP stuff. Nothing to commit as of yet, so it's just fixing the errors once that's done. Hopefully that should be in the next video. We can progress onto payment services. So thanks for watching. This has been day 68. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, wherever that box is. If you want to check out our Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter page, I recommend it. They are in the description as well. If the description's there, they're there. In the link, in the description, we'll have a link to GitHub, to our educational platform, which has over 15,000 free educational videos. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I will see you in day 69.